Okay, we are live. Sorry, everyone, a little technical problem with the Hangout. Some of the students reported that the Hangouts are freezing, and mine actually froze as well. But I think we're good to go now. So, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Grammar Garage series. In this class, we're going to follow up a speaking skills class that we did on Tuesday. Tuesday, we started to look at how we can describe things in an advanced way, particularly about hobbies and interests. So we're going to take that, we're going to focus on the grammar of descriptions first, then we're going to give you a chance to try it out on your own. So all of that and more coming up in just a second. And I'll get my name on the screen and we will get started. And also, let me just get the material open. While I'm opening the material, let me just do a quick introduction. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you from Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, if you click on the link in the Verbling chat window, it'll take you to my profile page where you can follow me and not see my upcoming classes until Verbling fixes it. But you can schedule a private tutoring class with me, and I'll work on a personalized learning plan to help get you to your goals. So there's that if you want to send me a message. Here is the material that we worked on Tuesday, and I've added some interesting stuff for today. Here's the link to the material if you want to open it up yourself. So what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to both of you, Giancarlo and Anna, you were both in Tuesday's class, weren't you? I believe so.
I think so.
I think I wasn't.
You weren't. Okay. So let's do this. Let's take a look at one of the things we read, just to give you a kind of a model or an example of how people talk about interests. So let's take a look at one, just one. Then we're going to jump into our activities, but it might be good to take a look at one. Giancarlo, do you remember some of the hobbies that people that we read about, that people were speaking about in the last class?
Yes, we were checking different activities. For example, in the first slide, it was base jumping,
Jumping, right?
Karaoke, bodybuilding, Sudoku. And I read Sudoku. Yeah.
Let's take a look at one. Let's take a look at base jumping. Also yes. For Emmanuel, who wasn't here. Okay, let's take a look. So I want you to notice how the descriptions are done. What kind of adjectives are used here? So Anna Carolina, why don't you read about base jumping? Okay, and Emmanuel, you just follow along as well. Okay, and then we're going to go into the grammar of descriptions. So go ahead, Anna Carolina. Tell us about base jumping.
Okay. As soon as I saw, as soon as I saw someone base jumping off a Swiss mountain, I knew I wanted to do it. This guy just jumped off a cliff and fell for a few seconds before opening his parachute and floating down to land in the valley. It looked amazing. Base jumping's great because you don't have to go up in a plane. The word base comes from building, antenna, span, the middle part of a bridge, earth, mountain or cliff, the four kinds of places that base jumpers jump from. I've jumped from all of these except an antenna, so that's my next objective. The most important thing in base jumping is to stay calm when you are falling. You have to make very fast and accurate moves, and the smallest mistake will kill you. Most people think my hobby is terrifying, but I actually enjoy being terrified.
Okay, very good. By the way, have any of you ever gone base jumping? I asked this in the last class, but Emmanuel and Anna, you're new for this class. So have you ever done anything like this?
I have never uh, went to basic jumping, but I used to pilot a small airplane
Hmm.
and to do some maneuvers. There is a maneuver called to do or to make maneuvers. I'm sorry.
What's that? Say again?
I used to do or I used to make maneuvers.
I used to do maneuvers.
Okay, and one of them is called to stall. You
Ah,
have
right. You
to,
stall the engine, right?
yes, you have to turn off the engine and then you point the nose of the airplane to the floor. And then it starts falling really, really quickly
Mhm.
and he covers its fly and starts oh my gosh, I forgot the word.
So do you restart the engine, or do you just kind of make a like a loop?
No, you no, it's not a loop. It's not an acrobatic plane. It's a small airplane. You
Hmm.
turn off the engine,
Hmm.
then it starts falling,
Right,
and then you point the nose, the airplane's nose to the ground,
right.
and it recovers its fly and it starts gliding. You know?
You glide. So in other words, gliding is without the engine on. You use the force of the wind.
Yes, but while it is falling, it's like a roller coaster in the air.
That sounds that sounds terrifying.
No, it's awesome.
So basically, you're base jumping, but instead of jumping off a cliff, you're base jumping with the plane. Wow. Yeah, that sounds about like the worst possible thing I could possibly imagine doing. Remind me never to get into a plane with you. That's very interesting. So, and that's stalling the engine of the plane. So you go into oh, I think the word is like you go into a free fall, something like that. You go into a free fall with the plane. I don't know if it's hyphenated or not. Very interesting. Wow, that's quite exciting. And do you still fly? Do you still have a license?
Ah, teacher, I used to, but my license has expired, unfortunately, and I miss my airplane a lot.
Yeah, you have to put in a lot of flying hours, right, to maintain the license.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Furthermore, my husband is very concerned about it. He says that I am too much devil, and yes,
Daredevil.
uh-huh, because I also used to fly near the ground
Right,
in
right, right.
in a farm near the air club and to shoot the cattle, you know, and it's forbidden.
What is it called? To shoe the what?
The cattle
To
in a
shoe
farm
the kettle. I know
in a
what you.
farm
Yeah.
in a farm. There was a bull farm nearby the air club,
Hmm?
and I used to do that for
I
fun.
never heard that. I never heard that expression before. To shoe the kettle.
I don't know how to say. Uh, there were some bulls,
Uh-huh.
and they were uh, in peace, eating grass and so on. And then I used to fly
Uh-huh.
near the ground, and they got scared and they started running. And
Right,
I
right.
thought it was
Oh,
fun.
oh, so got it. To shoot the cattle. I thought. I'm sorry. I thought you said kettle. Got it. Cattle.
My pronunciation is awful, awful.
Oh, it's because I thought you said kettle with an F. Cattle. To shoe the cattle. Oh, I understand. So they were like in a big herd, and when the plane flies low, they all scatter in different directions.
Yes.
Yeah? Ah,
Uh-huh.
got it, got
My
it,
my
got it.
pronunciation is awful.
No, it's also that I'm not used to the I thought you were saying an expression. There's a name for there's all these like um, aeronomic sort of expressions. That's why I thought you were using one, like to eye the needle, and there's all these things, but I don't know them very well because I don't fly. But I thought you were using one of those expressions. No, your pronunciation is quite fine. Don't worry. To shoe the cattle. Um, well, let's do one more for Emmanuel because you weren't here either. This one is a slightly different kind of hobby. Again, as you read this, I want you to notice the way the descriptions are done. How do people feel? And how do they describe their hobby? This person felt terrified. The hobby was terrifying to some people. But this person enjoyed being terrified, right? So that's one set of adjectives. Notice how the ed and ing are used in particular. So, Emmanuel, let's do a little review. For you, this is the first time. For Giancarlo, this is a little review. Here's something a little different, Emmanuel. Can you read a little bit about karaoke?
A lot of my friends say that they feel embarrassed when they sing in front of people, but I don't think it's embarrassing at all. People are so worried about what other people think that they can't have fun anymore.
That they
I think
can't have fun.
they can't have fun anymore. I think it's crazy. When I get up on stage, I just forget what people think of me. Last year, I entered a karaoke competition in my hometown, Wicklow, and I won a place in the national championship. I was so excited. I went to Dublin with all my friends and family. It was fantastic. There were some brilliant,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
brilliant,
That's it.
brilliant singers there from all over the country, and I didn't think I had a chance, but in the end, I won second place. Was I embarrassed? No, I wasn't.
There you go. And that's Shania Brady from Wicklow. Okay. It's a little bit of an introduction and a review for Giancarlo, but we're going to jump ahead and talk about the grammar of descriptions. So I'm going to forget about bodybuilding and Sudoku for a second. Jump ahead here to slide 8. Let's focus on the first two. So it asks you to work with a partner, but let's just do it together as a group. Find ed or ing adjectives in the text. What's your idea of fun? Just base jumping in karaoke to describe the following situation. So, for example, something fantastic. One of the adjectives that came up was amazing. What about feeling very afraid? What was the adjective that came up? Feeling very afraid. What do you remember from the text?
Embarrassed?
For base jumping, for the first text. This is for anyone who remembers. We've got such a small group that we can just talk freely.
It's scary.
Say again?
It's scary.
Scaring or scared?
No. Feeling scared.
Feeling scared. Good. Feeling scared. So notice that because it's a feeling, we say scared and not scaring. Notice that. And in the karaoke text, again, this is for all three of you, feeling stupid or ashamed. What was that word? Anybody? Anybody? Karaoke? I said this is for all of you. Number 3, feeling stupid and ashamed.
Embarrassed?
Okay, good. Embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Not Ed, just embarrassed. Like as if there's a T. Embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Exactly. Okay, good. Feeling concerned and afraid. If you know it, shout it out. Feeling concerned and afraid. By the way, remember you can just review, you can just go back to the, using the link, just go back and take a quick look, skim over the text if you're not sure. So what would you say? Oops, sorry, I lost the screen share. Sorry about that. Sorry. Hey, there's all kinds of hangout problems. There we go. So we're on number 4. Who wants it? Feeling concerned and ashamed.
Feeling concerned, maybe worried.
Worried. Okay, good. It works. Again, notice the ed ending in worried.
Yes.
Okay?
Worried, yeah.
Okay, good. Feeling happy and enthusiastic.
Exhilarated.
Exhilarated. Very good, very good. Okay. Sorry, give me just a second here. And let me go
It
back
could
here.
be excited.
And excited. Yep, as long as they fit, that's all that matters. Exhilarated is a good word too. Excited. Sorry, give me just a second here. Yeah, I think it was excited in the text. The other ones which we didn't read this time, you could probably just make a guess. In the bodybuilding text, feeling very interested. What's an adjective?
Enticed.
Again?
Fascinated.
Fascinated.
Enticed.
Enticed. Enticed for being very interested. Enticed has a lot more to do with curiosity, but yeah, it could work. Enticed, fascinated. Do you notice how these are all ed adjectives? These are all verbs in the past participle form that are being used as adjectives. That's why we have the ed. But look at number 7. Something that is horrible and unpleasant. This one you might remember, Giancarlo. How do most people feel about bodybuilding?
Disgusting.
They say that it is disgusting, right? So notice that we're describing not our feelings this time, but we're describing something, I'll say, outside of ourselves. And the answer is disgusting. So you've got the ing ending there.
Could be. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Horrifying.
Horrifying.
Shocking. Distressing.
I find it all very distressing. Exactly. So horrifying, shocking, distressing. Very good. And the key idea here is that all of these have an ing. So you can probably figure out right now what the difference is between the ed and ing adjectives. That's the main thing that you should understand. Let's take a closer look on the next page. Match these words with these pictures, 1 to 4. You've got disgusted, terrifying, terrified, and disgusted and disgusting is the last word. Okay? So, how does he feel? Look at number 1. There's a guy on a ledge. How do you think he feels? Anna Carolina, what would you say for number 1?
He's terrified.
He's terrified. He doesn't want to fall off. Look at number 2, Emmanuel. Can you see what's happening in the picture, number 2? You've got to look at what's on her plate. Look what's on her plate in the bottom part of the cartoon. Is that a meal that you would like to eat?
No.
Of course not. So she's what? Using those four adjectives at the top, choose the one that best fits. She's what, Emmanuel?
Uh, disgusted?
She's disgusted. Exactly. She's disgusted. It's the best fit. So number 3 and 4 are a little bit easier now. Giancarlo, that guy on the ledge when he looks down, how would you describe that scene below him? It's what?
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying, exactly. And Anna Carolina, if she looked at her plate, how would she describe her plate, her meal? It's
disgusting.
It's disgusting, right? That's it. So, with that in mind, let's just fill in the rules, okay? Rule number 1, use adjectives ending with something to talk about how the person feels. Shout it out.
ed.
Ed. Therefore, use adjectives ending with what? To talk about the cause of the feeling.
ing.
Ing. That's it. In short, if it's a feeling, ed. If it's the cause of the feeling, if it's something outside of ourselves, it's ing. Pretty easy, right? That's not so difficult. Let's see if you got it. Here's an example. Chuck's hobby is terrifying. He enjoys being... Who wants it? Giancarlo? He enjoys being...
Yes, terrified.
Right, because he's base jumping. He enjoys being terrified. Anna Carolina. Shania thinks karaoke is
Exciting.
exciting. Keep going. And she never?
Feels embarrassed.
She never feels embarrassed. Very good. Emmanuel, some people feel disgusted.
Disgusted.
Good.
But bodybuilding, but Petra think is fascinating.
Fascinating. Right. Because we didn't read her text this time, but she's a female bodybuilder. She thinks it's fascinating. So, okay, and Giancarlo, Jake. Jake feels
satisfied.
Satisfied. This is the Sudoku guy. Keep going.
When he finishes a puzzle, he never feels bored.
He never feels bored. Is it puzzle or puzzle?
It's puzzle.
It's puzzle. Like puppy. Like sun. Puzzle.
Yeah. Puzzle.
And also remember the Z sound. Puzzle. Puzzle.
Puzzle.
Yeah, that's it. Puzzle. It's both of those together. The and the Z. Puzzle. Okay.
Puzzle.
You all got it. Take a look at this text. A little small, so you might want to open this in your computer. And let's just nail this down. This is a much more advanced use of the ed and ing. There'll be some cases where the answers are correct as they are. Most cases they won't be correct. There'll be some cases where they'll be correct because of the position in the sentence as well. Okay? So this is a much more advanced version of what we just learned. So in other words, I'm trying to give you something that's a little bit extra, that goes beyond what we looked at in the last class on Tuesday. In fact, we didn't really get into the grammar last Tuesday, but we're going to do it right now. Okay? So let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. In this text, airport hell. Well, let's each take a paragraph and try it out. Anna Carolina, I want to start us off. This is going to be about flights, scary airports.
What I have to do?
Just read and choose the best answer.
Okay. Airport hell. Results of a recent survey of international air travelers have revealed alarming discrepancies in the levels of
Yeah, you're going to have to think about this. There's a lot of text. By the way, your first answer is correct. Revealed alarming discrepancies. Discrepancies means differences.
okay, in the levels of oh my gosh, now I'm not sure.
As I said, this one is pretty advanced. You have to let everything sink in. If you need to read it and come back.
I don't know the answer
Come
for
back
this
to it.
one.
Come back to it.
Okay, at many leading airports around the world. Um, Staggering 75% of
Staggering is correct, by the way. A staggering 75% of.
those interviewed
Good.
felt that airports were failing to provide a relaxing and efficient environment.
Absolutely correct. It's relaxing because the environment is outside of us. It's not our feelings. We feel relaxed, but the environment is relaxing. Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Take a look at 2 again. Is it comfort and service provided, or is it provided comfort and service?
I don't know. I
Or is
I
it
really
both? Maybe both are correct.
I don't know. This one
Well,
I have no idea. Sorry.
let's find out. If I read that, let's see. I mean, the only way I can tell is by reading it out loud and just hearing it. Let's see. The results of a recent survey of international air travelers has revealed alarming discrepancies in the level of comfort and service provided, or in the levels of provided comfort and service. It sounds much better to say the levels of comfort and service provided because of the preposition of. When you say of, the level of comfort, that's a pattern in English that you might recognize. It sounds much better to me. In fact, levels of provided, I don't think it's wrong to say levels of provided comfort and service. So I would say that they're probably both grammatically correct, but that the first one sounds better because we expect to hear an adjective, levels of, it's not an adjective, it's a noun. It's a descriptive noun. After and of, levels of comfort, levels of happiness, levels of hostility. We expect that descriptive word right after the preposition. So I would say that they're both correct, but the first one is much more common. Levels of comfort and service provided. Also, provided at seems to go well together because it's a verb, so we expect a preposition after a verb. Okay? So the answer is probably the first is better. It's tricky. So this one is about the word order, and it's not obvious at all. Okay? So your other answers are correct. And number 2, I would say comfort and service provided sounds better in the end. Okay, Emmanuel, take it away. Airports in Britain.
Airports in Britain and the United States came in for particular criticisms. Fewer than 1 in 10 people were fully satisfied
Good.
with the service provided
Good.
at leading airports in these countries.
Good. By the way, pronunciation. Countries.
Countries.
Not ow, but countries.
Countries.
I'm still hearing kind of an but I want to hear an like sun. Country. Sun. Country.
Country.
Good. That's it.
Countries.
Good, good. Keep going. Researchers
point to the enormous growth in passenger numbers in the last 20 years, a continuing
Good.
trend which has not been reflected
Good.
in a corresponding growth in airport facilities.
Very good. As I said, this one is really advanced, but so far you're all doing very well. Continuing trend, not a continued trend. That is correct. Okay, if you're getting them right,
Okay.
you don't need to hear from me. If you get them right, you're getting them right. Giancarlo, by contrast.
Yes. By contrast, airports in the growing economies of Southeast Asia and the Pacific have received far higher satisfaction ratings. Many passengers questioned
Good.
felt that these airports, which are generally more modern than in their equivalents in the West, usually offered uh, mm, enhancing check-in facilities and a more pleasant
Which? Enhanced or enhancing?
is uh, enhanced, I think,
Enhanced is correct.
enhanced check-in facilities and a more pleasant environment when compared to their competitors.
Okay. It can't be enhancing check-in facilities because the check-in facilities are not enhancing anything. They themselves are enhanced. Enhanced means improved or changed in a better way. So it's really describing the type of facility, therefore it's enhanced. If the facilities were improving something else, like enhancing air travel, that would be different. So the answer enhance is the right one because it's pure description in this case. Okay, so far so good. Anna Carolina, can you take the first two in the last paragraph, 11 and 12, for us?
Okay. Discussed key factor. No, hold on. My gosh. Key factor discussed in
Correct.
the report is is the way in which airports deal with flight delays. The better airports have found ways to cope with uh, let me see the context.
Mhm.
Reading from television's longer to okay, bored passengers
Correct.
hanging from television loungers,
Lounges.
lounges. Thank you and sorry to children's activity areas.
Okay, very good. They're bored passengers. We might think they're boring, but the text wants bored because it's how the passengers feel. Okay, Emmanuel, can you take 13 and 14 for us?
Delaying passengers
Good.
seem to appreciate small
Uh-oh.
details.
No, no. As I read the rest of the sentence, I realized it can't be delaying. It's got to be describing the type of passenger, so it's got to be delayed. Passengers
Uh,
who are delayed.
mhm. Delayed passengers seem to appreciate small
Details.
details such as comfortable seating and the available of a wide range of refreshments.
Not available. Look again.
Available,
Of look
available,
at
availability,
avail availability. Why does that look wrong? Availability. Availability. There you go. Availability. You
avail,
forgot you forgot the
av-
la. Availability.
availability
That's it.
of a wide range of refreshments. Keep on.
Keep on, yeah, 14. Oh, actually, you're going to finish it up. Yes.
Affected passengers. No.
Mm-hmm.
Is it right?
Just keep reading. Let's find out. We'll find out in the end. Just keep reading.
Let me see. Uh, Affected passengers were less likely to complain in the children were mm, amused,
Amused. Amused.
amused, amused, and they were able to find inexpensive cafes and bars.
Okay, that's correct. For number 14, it's just like number 2. I don't think either one is incorrect grammatically, but the first one sounds better. I think it'd be more common to say that. Affected passengers were less likely to complain. Passengers affected were less likely to complain. Yeah, both of them are acceptable. I have a feeling most people would put the adjective first, to be honest with you. So maybe that's the better answer. But they're both acceptable.
The first one is the better.
It's probably more frequent, yeah, putting the adjective first.
Okay.
So as you can see, if there's no reason stopping you from using the other choice, then it means that there's nothing wrong with either one. Whereas, what was the one about the ing that we did before? It was delaying passengers and delayed passengers. Well, there it's a big difference in meaning. That's why only delayed passengers works. The passengers, we're not delaying the passengers. The passengers are people who are delayed. So that's why in that case it has to be delayed. Okay, so at number 2 and number 14, for me, both are acceptable. Both answers. We're not done yet. I want you to look at the pronunciation. This is probably a review. As you probably know already, there are 3 ways to pronounce the past tense in English. Those 3 ways have to do with using voiced and voiceless consonants. Look at the word amazed. It's a D. It goes in the column that is pronounced D. Amazed. Emmanuel, let me hear you say that. Amazed.
Amazed.
Perfect. Giancarlo, amazed.
Sorry, amazed.
That's it. Anna Carolina, amazed.
Amazed.
That's it. Okay. The letter Z in amazed, is that a voiced or voiceless consonant? Are you using your vocal cords or not?
Not.
You are.
You?
You are using your vocal cords.
Amazed.
And you know this? Yeah. Put your fingers on your throat and you can feel it. Amaze. You can feel the vibration. Amaze.
Amazed.
That's it. You can hear it and you can feel it if you put your fingers on your throat. That means if the word ends in a voiced consonant, like Z, it will be pronounced D. If it's voiceless, it'll be pronounced T. Okay, so Giancarlo, which of those words in the IPA symbols goes in the T column? You can see the words, you can guess what they are, because they're not too hard to figure out, even if you don't know the IPA. Look for the one that ends with the T. Do you see it?
Yes.
What
Yes,
word
I
is
do.
that?
Embarrassed.
That's right, embarrassed. Now, of course, it's spelled E-M in English, B-A-R-A-S-S-E-D. It's got 2 S's. S's are voiceless. To make the sound S, there's no vocal cords involved. Therefore, it ends with a T sound, embarrassed. Embarrassed. Okay. I'm not able to write on the screen when I'm showing you the presentation, so you're just going to have to remember that embarrassed goes in column 2. Anna Carolina, what do you think goes in the id column? In the id column.
It interested.
Very good. Notice in the IPA symbols for interested, there's a little apostrophe in front of in. Do you see that little tiny mark? I know it's hard to see on the screen. It's a little tiny apostrophe before the I in interested. That means that the stress is on the first syllable. Okay, so it's not interested or interested, it's interested. Say that for me. Interested.
Interested.
That's very good. Anna Carolina, look at the word to the left of interested. Can you see that?
Disgusted.
Exactly. The asterisk, or that, sorry, the apostrophe is before the gus, which shows you that the stress is on the second syllable. Disgusted. So disgusted and interested end with the T, therefore they go in the id column, because after a T, the ed pronunciation of the past tense is id. Disgusted, interested. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get the idea. Emmanuel, look at the first two, no, sorry, the second and third word in the top row, the IPA symbols. Can you read those words? Because we have amaze, which is crossed out. What's the word to the right of amazed? Can you read that?
Amazed.
Yeah, next to amazed on the right.
Excited.
Very good. Excited. Excited. Again, it ends with a T, so it goes in the third column. Okay? So that makes sense, everyone? The rule for pronunciation of the past tense, is that pretty clear?
Yes, it's pretty clear. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's do this. I want to give you a chance to talk about your interests. So I'm going to jump ahead. Oh, you've got the answers here if you want to review them. I'm going to jump ahead to the last activity. It says to follow the instructions on the next slide, write your answers in the shapes provided. So let's take a look. We started this, but we ran out of time. You've got different kinds of shapes. Now, ideally, in the real world, I'd have little pieces of paper, and you'd write them, and you'd put them on the board or something like that. We can't do that in the classroom. So I'm going to ask you just to use the numbers of the shapes. Each number corresponds to a different set of directions. So, for example, number 1 here is something you do on your board. Okay, so Giancarlo and Anna Carolina, you're going to focus on slide 15, and in the chat window, you're going to write numbers 1 to 7 and answer those 7 directions. Emmanuel, you're going to go to slide 16. You have a different set of directions, and I'm going to do the same. So when you're done, just put in this chat window in one place. Don't do separate numbers. I'll give you a quick example. It's going to be easy if we do it in one place. So 1, what does it say? Film you've seen. 1, Casablanca. 2, Sudoku. So it's going to look something like this, if possible, all in the same message. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to read. Okay, so take a minute. Emmanuel, you look at the slide on the screen. Giancarlo and Anna, take a look at the slide that's previous, which is slide 15. Okay, and fill in your answers. Together, we're going to do a virtual mingle, and we're going to try to guess what these things are that we're going to see. For example, oh, it's something I do when I'm bored. Well, what do you do? Draw. We're going to try to talk about how these things make us feel or why we find them interesting. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes or so. Emmanuel, any questions?
I didn't understand
So,
what I have to do.
okay, do you see the instructions on the screen right now? What do you see on the screen?
Put all together, student B feelings.
Keep going.
Write on or two words in each shape.
Except you're not going to write them in the shape. You're going to write them in the Verbling chat window on the bottom right side of the screen. So instead of writing them in the shape, you're just going to write the number and then your answer. What does number 1 say? What's the directions for number 1, Emmanuel? Look at the top of the screen. Number 1, an exciting?
Film you've seen.
Right. So that's going to be your answer. Mine was Casablanca. What's yours? What's an exciting film that you've seen?
A Walk for Remember.
Excellent. So number 1 is going to be that.
A Walk for Remember.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. I just want you to put them all together, if you can, from 1 to 7.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
And the same for you, Anna Carolina and Giancarlo. Try to put them all together in one message. Because otherwise... Okay. So I'll give you 2 minutes or something like that. I'm going to do the same, actually, as we do this. So, Emmanuel, put them all... Yeah, it's better. Put them all together if you can.
Could you repeat the instructions? Oh my gosh, what do we have to do?
Okay. I'll give you an example. Give me a second. One moment. Let me put my answers there, and then you'll see. Game you find entertaining. Actually, I don't find any games entertaining, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. Okay. Change. Okay. Something makes you feel annoyed. How about and number 7, you've done. Move in the... Okay, Anna Carolina, take a look at my answers in the chat window. Can you see those?
Yes.
Okay, so your directions and my directions are a little different because I'm on slide 16 and you're on slide 15. So you don't have the same directions. What we have to do is we're gonna mingle and have a little conversation as a class based on the answers that we've put in the window. So you have to look at number 1 and you have to figure out why I wrote that and what it means. When I explain it, I'm going to be using a mixture of ED adjectives and ING adjectives to talk about why this is an important, well, how I feel about this as one of my interests. Okay? So for example, you could say, Casablanca. Is that a city you've traveled to? And I would say, no, it's a film that I've seen. It's a classic film that makes me feel very nostalgic for film noir, those 1940s films. Also,
I'm not understanding. Should I answer those questions?
Maybe
Yourself.
John, may I do
And
it? May
type
I?
on the chat box.
That's exactly right. Yep. Okay. And it's good, very good, Giancarlo. And Anna Carolina, you could use if you don't have the. Oh, okay, we got it. And Emmanuel, we got it. Okay, we're going to run out of time again. I'll tell you what. Let's give it a try here. Let's take turns. So you're going to pick an answer. One of the questions, one of the answers you see in your partner's text, and you're going to ask about that question. When you answer, you're going to be using your adjectives from today's class to talk about how you feel about your interest. So here's an example. Giancarlo, is the Arch of Baja, is that a place that you've been to? The Arch of Baja, California, is that a place you've traveled to?
Yes, it is a place that I've been to.
And then describe it. It's one of your interests, so describe it. How would you describe it?
The arch is made of rocks, and the sun is totally clear. It's almost white. And in some seasons, the arch is covered by the sea, and in some other seasons, the arch is like an island.
Wow. So
Yeah,
focus on your feelings now, because you've got to use your ed and ing adjectives.
I felt amazed being there.
So it sounds like it's an amazing place.
It is an amazing place.
Okay, and so in certain seasons it's an island and it's cut off from everything else. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Very good, very good. Interesting. Okay, Giancarlo, I want you to pick a detail from Emmanuel's list. I want you to ask her about it. Emmanuel, you're going to describe your feelings when you explain your answer. Giancarlo, which one interests you that you see in her list?
What interests me?
Yeah, in her list, which one is stands out?
Remember Super Mario Bros. To take in. Okay, to talk in public.
Good. So ask her about it. Make a
Yes.
little guess. Why do you think she wrote that?
Do you like to talk in public? And why?
No, I don't like to talk in public because I feel embarrassed.
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 No, not embarrassed, but embarrassed with a T. Embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Good.
I feel embarrassed, and sometimes I feel afraid of what people would thinking about me.
Exactly. So it is what kind of an activity? It is. You feel embarrassed, but what kind of activity is it? It is a blank activity. It is a. Think about your ed and ing adjectives. What kind of activity is it for you, Emmanuel?
To feel embarrassed.
No, to talk in public.
What kind of feeling?
What kind of activity is it? Use your ing adjectives here.
Terrifying.
Excellent. Excellent. It is a terrifying activity for you. Okay, for most people, actually. Maybe for everyone. Excellent. Emmanuel, look at Anna's answers. She's a whole bunch going down the list. I want you to pick one and ask her about it. Pick one that stands out for you. Remember, her directions might be slightly different than yours. So you don't know exactly what the answers mean, but ask her about one, the way Giancarlo asked you.
Anna, can you tell me what makes you feel annoyed?
Yes, but I typed it. Should I answer?
Yeah, you're going to focus on your feelings now in describing it.
Okay, don't understand what I am supposed to do.
By the way, not don't, not understanding.
Not understanding.
Okay. But there's no ed or ing adjectives. So how
It's
do you
because
feel?
I didn't understand.
I think you have to explain why you feel annoyed when people doesn't remember your birthday.
No, I don't feel annoyed when people don't remember my birthday. I feel sad and worried. Okay,
What?
I feel worried when I don't I don't understand what I am supposed to do because it makes me feel ashamed
And you shouldn't feel ashamed. Got nothing to feel ashamed about.
because my level is advanced and I was supposed to understand it.
But fortunately, you've got nothing to be ashamed about. But ashamed is a very good word to talk about feelings because it has an ed. All right. We're a little over time, but if everyone can hang out for one more minute. Anna Carolina, I want you to pick one of the details from Giancarlo's list and ask him about it. You can make an educated guess about what you think he means, or you can just ask him a question about it. Giancarlo, you're going to focus on your feelings in answering her.
Okay,
Yes.
Giancarlo, I suppose that taking English classes um, um, no, hold on. I I think that natural disasters is something that makes you worried. Is it true? And why? You do you live in a place where it's likely to happen?
Good question.
Yes, Anna. Yes, you are right. In Mexico is a very it's a place where disasters happens
Where disasters happen.
every single day. So I feel terrified because sometimes a disaster could or may happen here in Mexico.
What kind of disasters? You say happen every day. Like what?
Well, no, well, yes, every day. In fact, tremors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. Mexico is moving all the time, and we have some volcanoes here around Mexico and in the country, and the volcanoes are terrifying.
I imagine.
So for that reason, I feel terrified.
I feel
Anna.
terrified just listening to you.
But don't feel afraid. Don't feel terrified. We are okay.
Remember, California is supposed to slip into the ocean any day, so think about that.
Yeah, John, Emmanuel, and Anna. Some specialists mention that one part of Mexico someday is going to be fall apart. Is going
Right.
to be fall apart from Mexico. The part is in the south, in the north. I'm sorry, in the north is Baja California Sur. Is a small branch, and in that place, the how do you say this kind of failure, La Falla de San Andrés, the San Andrés failure.
Not failure. It's fault. Fault. Oops, you got to turn your microphone back on, Giancarlo. Fault, like this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The fault passed over there, and sometimes Mexico is going to be separated.
Ah, right. Emmanuel, you can't mute him because then we can't hear him.
Emmanuel, what's wrong with you, Emmanuel? Tell me. Are you okay?
She's trying to fix your volume, but she's new to Hangout. She doesn't
Oh,
understand.
don't mute me, Emmanuel, please. Okay, yeah, but it was my example.
Okay, very good. Well, let's do this, everyone. I'd be happy if you want to spend a little bit of time work on your descriptions as a text, as I said on Tuesday. I'd be happy to correct them for you. So think about some of the things that interest you. Think about how they make you feel using ed adjectives, or the cause of that feeling using ing adjectives, and write up a little description. If you're interested, send it to me in the message window. Later on today, I'll correct it and send it back to you. I'd be interested in hearing about all of your interests. Okay? So,
Okay,
great job, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow for learning from pictures and language games from 12 to 2. Okay? Have a great
okay.
day, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.